Hey everyone, this is Tea and Politics with Maya, and today I'm joined by a really interesting and inspiring woman, Shabnam. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you
for being here. It's really nice to have somebody coming fresh out of a protest, of a demonstration. So we are recording this on the 6th of September, 2025, whenever you're watching or listening. And this is actually the end of a very interesting day for Shabnam, but you will let her story flow in a minute. I'm doing this intro just in case you have not subscribed or joined yet the channel. Please do that because it helps us reach wider audiences and actually go towards more unknown terra incognita places. So today we're not talking about the EU. Generally, this podcast is mainly focused to Europe or the EU, but also globally, what type of processes are happening around us. And I think that more and more people are curious to know what's happening in Iran, especially after the escalation in the last couple of months. But also, I think that it's a really interesting angle to not ask Iran what's happening in Iran, but actually to ask the citizens of Iran what's happening. So, and I'm sure that these are two very different stories. So can you tell us, you are from Iran. How was your childhood? How did you grow up in Iran? How was it when you were growing up?
First of all, thank you, Maya. Thank you for having me in this podcast and this opportunity. For me, as an Iranian woman, most of them, all of them, I can say that when they grow up as a woman, it is full of discrimination. Mm-hmm. And when you grow up, it is some normal in Iran when you grow up as a woman, as a girl. And they faced most of limitations, most of the discrimination that you cannot do because of your girl.
When did you first feel that? How does it?
Yes, it's, I cannot. When I understood when I was a child, when they told me I grew up and I was a teenager, and they didn't allow me to have a bicycle and ride a bicycle because I'm a girl, and the rules is the girls cannot ride, or the women cannot ride a bicycle or cannot drive a cycle, and so it is a big.
It's not a girly thing to do.
Yes, exactly, and they say you cannot do these things because you are a girl. It is normal. You are a girl. You should speak very, not speak loudly because you are a girl, something like this. And when and also, some discrimination, it as you used to do it, and also it is some
real
life. Yes, all the time you question it and you protest it, but nobody answer you, and they say, okay, we were, or other women say, we were such like you, or some of them say, okay, we cannot do something. You say, okay, we say it, but we cannot do something. It's a rule of the government. It is a rule of the policies, not is the culture. It is the policies, because they're forbidding you. They arrest you or something like that. In school, yes, I understood something and I protest in my writings or something like this. But I was a teenager. It is not.
But it's interesting that even as a child and as a young girl, you were, even if you knew it was not meant to deliver success, you still had the drive to disagree with some rules. Were you getting in trouble for that? How would that work in a day?
Yes, in trouble, yes, they get trouble. But, when the families know about the how this government is criminal, and they are wanted you to don't do this because we don't
so you can get in danger.
Yes, you can do danger, and we don't want to they harm you or something like this. They are just wanted to protect you from some criminal things. So
I'm asking you, and maybe this sounds like a very stupid question, and maybe for some of the people who grew up in a context and they had to constantly protest it, maybe this is a very stupid question, but most of my listeners are based in Western Europe, and I think that it truly needs to be fragmented on what does it actually mean to protest because you severely disagree with your context, not with your parents, not with your husband, boyfriend, wife, sister, with your government. Like that you have to make a stand as a child, as a girl, every day.
And something is rule, you cannot, it's a very simple thing. You cannot go, not as a girl, my mother or my sisters or grow up women, they cannot go to the travel or have a trip because without a permission of the male guardian. Not the father, husband, or something like that. They cannot have a passport without permission of male guardian. They cannot be at another city without permission of. It is policy. It is a rule of governments. Even when I wanted to have passport, my father should have signed the forms that I permission that my girl had permission. And it is something that they make a rule in your society that nobody can do something. And with this, lots of the misogynist happenings inside society. Instead of the government, others people use others men. When they wanted to harm some people, some women, they can use this
to twist it around like they have.
Yeah, yes, and also, some maybe one man wanted to harm his wife, clearly and very easily he has this power to don't permission his wife to go to the travel or have a job or something like that. It is all the things under the rule of the men.
I'm just thinking on how does this whole system play in a situation with a domestic violence, for example? Because how can you prove that somebody is hurting you at home if you don't have equal rights to them? You cannot really make a case out of that.
Exactly. It is something like that. And as I say, that's something they wanted to make. But I should say that women in Iran can't accept this from the beginning. In 1979, when the revolution came, after Khomeini came and they stolen the revolution, the first things this government started is to targeting women. They wanted women to push to the hijab, and also they cannot go to the job without the permission. But they started to protest. And after the 1979, they had a big protest against the Khomeinis, and all of them came together. But what did they? This Khomeini come, they arrested, they killed, they executed from the 1980s decades till now. They oppress the women because they wanted their rights. So when we say about the women's rights inside Iran, it's not come from the 2 months or 3 years or
it's
something like that. Long-standing, and from this revolution, and also before that, from the dictatorship of that, we had lots of the women heroes who stood against Shah dictatorship, who resisted inside prisons, who were killed by the Shah dictatorship, and then others joined the movement to protest about the misogynist regime. And we say this regime is misogynist regime because the first target of the suppression was women. So when we speaking about the protest or doing something, it's not that nobody doing this. Yes, somebody because of that. The generations like me, my generation, or some others understood, okay, we should do something. It's not that accepting these roles. Yes, we accept in our life during, yes, I accepted, not accepted. I had to go to the school. I had to cover my hair because of the rules of the school. I should go to the school to accept this rule. But when I went to university and I accepted at university, I have this opportunity. I had this opportunity to be active.
Can you tell me about, I'm really interested to understand how, for example, your circle of friends, of other girls going through high school to university, how would you, in a way, protest, not only about going to demonstrations, but what would you do together with each other, and how would you talk about this? Would that be like something that you would just talk generally, openly, or is this something?
As I told, because of the high level of suppression and also the roles of the families that wanted to protect us, there's not the generally speaking about something, but new generation, yes. But in our generation, yes, we started to, in high school, this was the high school, they wanted to just, but when I get know some movements and understood some our rules, we speaking together, and I say, okay, we have these rules. What we cannot do something, but the boys can do. This is some questions we speak about together, and we say, yes, it's not our rights. So just some of the raise awareness between together to say understood, okay, it's not the point that we should be there and we should try to another way. But the another discrimination is that accepting to the university, this was not a equal roles that we can.
How does it work? How does it work in Iran?
In Iran is that we should have the entrance exam, but they used when I was during my examination, they used the points for boys. Some fields the girls cannot accept that or something like that. But yes, I tried to accept it to university, and I got accepted Khwarazmi University in Tehran and near the Tehran Karaj, and computer science student. And so I moved from Tabriz to Tehran, another city, big city. It was a new thing for me and new challenging. And I say it was such a turning point in my life, because I faced big things in my life. But
I can also imagine that even moving cities, it's actually quite stressful and very new. But I want to circle back just a few sentences ago regarding the entry exams. So yes. I actually recently rediscovered that also in Bulgaria, they still have these quotas that actually boys enter with lower points for certain specialties. And I was very surprised that this is still a thing, because every time I mention quota for women in policy or decision making, a lot of people say, oh, this is ridiculous because then all the stupid women will get in and this is just artificial. But then on the other hand, there are so many countries in the world where if they don't on purpose lower the bar so boys and girls can compete in air quotes, it's not going to work. So it's in Iran is still the same, the system that you have lower points for some boys? For some specialties?
Yes, they use some points for the, it's not just for boys, it's some points for some special families and special level of the class of the governments. They use this unfair, we say it is an unfair
like an
exam.
Advantage for
exactly. They use some points to give points to some of the children of the
right children.
Yeah, exactly. For the governments or some of they use some of the, and now there's a very awful that it was rich and poor. There's some of the special schools now are for just so the rich people can put their children on these universities, these schools, and they get prepared very well, but the others cannot. It is a very unfair competition. It is
privilege. It's absolutely privileged.
Exactly. And for us also, we said this because some of the children from the other families had this opportunity to get access lots of the facilities and also get access in some points the questions. It's not fair in this system, and we cannot believe in this system or trust.
Because it's meant to trick you. It's not meant to bring transparency.
But against this comparing, and they easily put you away because of the background of your family. And we called in university it is the start student that get a start, because they exactly say because of your activity you cannot continue your studies because of activities inside university. So we call them start student because they start. So yes, it is not a fair.
It doesn't have anything to do with academics then also.
Exactly.
Tell me about the computer science degree, because I think that's still quite rare, and we have so many problems with women being part of the STEM sector. You graduated computer science.
No, I didn't graduate because I
started. Yes, yeah. We'll go through this part as well. But, so you entered the computer science.
Yes,
Was it interesting for you? How many boys? How many girls?
Yeah, it was. Most of our classmates was. I thought I remember that. Boys, but it was fair boys and girls in but most of the engineering, computer engineering, most of them were boy. During my exam, during my era, it was most of the engineering were for boys.
And why did you choose computer science then? What happened?
No, I just wanted to. I just like it, and also computer science related to coding and also mathematics. It's not just engineering, just a computer. It is some of you have coding and programming with the mathematics. So I love it and I like it, but it is not my choice exactly. I wanted to continue another field, but when I got my number in examination, I had to choose this. It's not all the things that in Iran you continue your goals. As I said, that lots of the things you faced lots of the limitations, and so you had to choose, because if I wanted to continue my goals, I had to study another year. So I didn't want to waste my time for my life for this, and I don't had a very I like computers and computer science, so because of that.
And what kind of student were you? What were you curious? Were you active in the student movement?
Yes, at university, as I said, it is a turning point for my life. I faced lots of the things that, as I say, I used to. I was living, but I didn't know that it's not the. I can do something against it. But at university, I had this opportunity to join student movement. It's a place I could express myself, my ideas, or finding something, searching something, not illegally. It was all of them illegally, because I got to know lots of the people or classmates or at university that are different ideas and something like this. So I thought, okay, it is a place I can do something, I can understand something, and we have some student movement. I joined them and do some protests. The first protest that I attended, it was very great, and I like it, and I say, okay,
what were you protesting against?
It was about the protest against one of the students, as I say, get to start because he was activist, and they didn't allow them to continue his studies and got to start. And so because of that, we protest to say education is his right, and education must be all of us. And so it is some that thinks that it is what our
So in a
right.
way, it was a protest to defend a fellow colleague from a
Exactly.
university.
Yeah,
A very
exactly.
peaceful,
Yeah, very, very peaceful it was some feeling that, okay, you can do something. But, they didn't attention our goals or something like we want. But when you feel you can do something, it was great inside you. And this you say, okay, I'm useful. I'm a person, and you get know yourself. Okay, I should do more. I'm a human. I can choose. I cannot I can choose to push away this kind of discrimination and this separation. I'm not should to overcome their fear, because they wanted to separate the fear and to be keep you in such a cage. You cannot fly or something like this.
To convince you that you don't matter and that
you don't matter,
have power.
and you don't have a power to do something. You are powerless, and most of the things that they use this, they want to separate the fear when they start or they provide some student to continue their studies. They send a message to others. If you do these things, you're next. Yes, you are next. And so it is the strategy this regime use every time for.
Does it work?
No. As it works, no, because we see that. For me, if I thought, okay, I cannot do active because I'm a next, it works. But no, I continued. I found my way to do more. I understood, and some other things understood. My fellow classmate was she was Baha'i, and one morning we understood they didn't allow her to come university because of she is Baha'i, from Baha'i ideas as a religion, not the Muslim. She's Baha'is. Oh, we understood. Okay, and I understood. Oh, why? She's brave. She's very. She likes her continue education, and why they should be forbidden her from education. Oh, understood. Okay, another discrimination. That the religion.
I think that part of this conversation would also be about the why do we really need secularism when it comes not only to government, but to education, to science, to all parts of life. I think this is a very good evidence that, of course, you can be whatever religion you want, and that should not.
It's not related to your religion, but this regime use power of the fundamentalism and not Islam. They use fundamentalism as Islam to get power, to push pressure and separation against all kinds of people, not just women, boys, or men, and Baha'is, all kinds of people. They live inside Iran, or they wanted to have their rights. They're under the separation and oppression. So because of that, when the people ask me, don't do this, policies is not good, or maybe, and I told them, okay, the next one maybe be you. It's not under this government. And when you live under this government, you cannot say, okay, I do my job, I do my way,
like that,
and they come. So not you go, you don't hear about them or say, okay, I have my life. But we see they do something against your life, your peaceful life, your calmness, because they don't want everyone to live in a calm or something like this.
What else were you protesting against?
And so inside university, I started to be, as I said, what else? When I understood that we can do protest I just wanted to.
You wanted all of the
all of
protests,
it.
okay?
Yeah, no, it was that some happened inside Iran that some president that Ahmadinejad came to the power, and so it was lots of the suppressions of the things, and we started the different protestation inside. And another thing that I understand that I wanted that I knew about the some movement that. That was in, and they are inside Iran, but they are forbidden, and we cannot do something. But I just understood that's learning about that, not get involved them. But I understood, they started to arrest students, and I wanted to say, okay, how can I do my job? I do my studies, and I coding for my lessons. But the others are in the jail. It is my age. They are my age. They are my. It's not they. They weren't at my university from my university, but we are together. All of the universities we understood because of the peaceful protest. They arrested some students, so we started to protest different universities, and so I joined to the great movement of the students movement, and so I got accepted for one of the leaders inside our university as leaders and we because of the bad situation for our students inside university, we started the great protest inside university. It was 12 days strike. Hunger strike. And yes, it was great, and all of the country involved in this. So they accepted our what we wanted, but after that they started to arresting.
And what were your demands during these?
They got all of the facilities for students, for the for our for the education facilities and something inside, and about
it was
academical demands. Exactly. It was
so
academic.
It was not about
the policies
pushing away the government.
No. It was inside. It was
the
inside faculty and all of the university, and it was just students, not other people, just university and just students, and just wanted the academic demands to have some facilities and the quality of the education and quality of our...
Which I imagine is a demand from every student in every school and in every university. Of course, you want good education, you want your time to be well spent.
And we also protest against the discrimination, and they wanted to divide the girls and boys from in the classroom, and it was very shocking. But we say you cannot do these things. We cannot accept this, that you wanted to divide women and boys and something like that. So. Yes, it was a great.
So they answered your demands after the 12 days.
Yes, and then they started to arrest all of the leaders, and they push away the students, and the suppression, the big suppression against the students. They wanted to. It is maybe crazy, but they arrested the students who were involved in this.
And how many people were you in the core of the protests?
It was the 20 of the students. It was for the decision, but all the students, 4,000 people, 4,000, all of the students, yes, all of the students. Because of that, they got angry, and
because you were too successful in protesting.
Exactly, and it was a hunger strike, and so the protest during the day was all of the students, the 4,000 people came to university and protest.
You're just saying all the time so impressive things, but you're saying them is that's like a usual, I don't know, sentence.
Because we in Iran, as I said that we were living these things, it was actually,
I understand that for you that has been normalized, but to me, just the fact that you did a hunger strike, I don't think I have ever met anyone in my life who did a hunger strike. So that rings so many bells in my head. And then to organize 4,000 people in a protest, that's also massive. So before we go to the next chapter, what does it mean to have a hunger strike for 12 days? How does that work?
Means, it was that we didn't get, it was that not the 4,000, all of the students were in hunger strike. It was maybe 100 students.
The core of
the core were in hunger strike. They didn't eating anything, just drinking water or something inside sugar, a little bit sugar inside. And we have some of the students that they got ill because of that, but they did this because we wanted to. We are serious.
And the professors, because I can also imagine that some of the professors, it must have been also difficult for them.
Yes, some of the professors wanted to support us, but they didn't, because most of and we, as I told them, we said that if you don't support us, the next one will be you. And also they did that. In some cases, they suppressed professors and they fired their job, cut the job for them. And so, but yes, it is not, it is as you cannot imagine the high level of suppression inside Iran. All the people, they do the criminal things they do exactly. When we say the prisoners inside prison, resistance against the criminal regime, they say they exactly resistance, they, because like nobody can imagine in the Europe country that how the means of solitary confinement, they cut down from your family, your life, from the normal life. You cannot from everything. You cannot access the normal life. You are in the cell, and you're just thinking. It's because of the. I want just to say when the people protest, how they are brave. When the people see the protest 2020, 3 years ago, they exactly brave because they kill people inside the street. They arrest them and
they disappear.
Under the torture they kill without having their names. We don't have the whole names of the people who were killed inside the street or it's this kind of criminal that they do, that the torture they do every day. And so we speak about this when they will say, okay, when the professor didn't support us, yes, it's not, and I cannot say, okay, it was a good job they didn't support, but I wanted to say how the fear is in society.
But I think that there are also many examples throughout history where actually a lot of the brave revolutions are led by young people, by students, by people who in a way, I think with youth, there is more bravery.
Exactly.
I'm not going to say that there is more wisdom in age, because I also believe that, but I think that when it comes to change and when it comes to pushing, young people have more
because they understood that they want new things.
They want a future for their life, which is different.
Exactly.
Tell me about the arrests.
Yes, I got arrested when I was 20-year-old computer science student. I was in the 3rd year of my study, and they arrested me. And they transferred me to the...
Where did you get arrested?
In the street. They robbed me, exactly. They stole them without knowing my family, because I was on my way to a meeting. As I said, the leaders of the students' movements leaders meeting, and they stopped my taxi and they robbed me without saying anything, and they stole me, and they say... without any reason, they say, and they transfer me to the notorious Evin prison in Tehran, and then the jail related to the intelligence minister that calls 209. It is all of the interrogators are there, and also in interaction. I was yes, and also solitary confinement. Also, all of them in this.
When did you understand that this is the police and this is what's happening to you? Because I can imagine that this with taxi and everything, it happens very
yeah.
fast.
So, you know, as you are active inside Iran, this who can harm you or are the most dangerous things is the
So
police.
it's not the criminals; it's actually the police.
The police. You know, when somebody wanted to attack you, they're related to the government. Nobody can. I not can say that all the things, but when you are active all the time, you are ready to. Yes, they wanted
it's coming.
Yes, it's coming. You wanted to, but it's not that. I asked them. I loudly asked them what you wanted to. Who are you or something like that. They pushed me and attacked me and pushed me in another car, and they show me something like the ID card, but it's not the ID card. They have lots of the ID card. You know, they are the government and the intelligence service. So, but I understood. Okay, I got arrested because the things that showed me that okay, it's arresting, nothing else. So,
but that sounds so scary, and I can imagine. I mean, you're a very powerful and brave woman, but you're also tiny nerd that codes and has glasses. So you don't really strike me as an aggressive criminal who needs to be...
Yes. But something inside Iran is the difference, you know, it means...
You're scary for the police and for the government.
Exactly. When you are in this case, you are the target of the danger for the government. But
I will ask now a series of maybe stupid questions for everybody who understands your context, but I will start anyway. Did you get a lawyer?
I wanted to say that when I got arrested, when I was in the solitary confinement, about 3 months.
3 months?
Yes. Under the interrogation, and also the pressure and torture, physical and mental, and they wanted me something most important. Wanted me to reject the movement, the alternative movement. It calls MEK, the Mujahideen Khalq Organization, and also National Council of Resistance of Iran. What is this? It is the forbidden name inside Iran, MEK, Mujahideen Organization. Nobody can
you don't talk about it.
You cannot talk about it. You cannot connect it to them. And who are them? They are the longest standing movement inside Iran. And today it is the 60 years of the birthday. Before the 60 years before, during a Shah dictatorship, 3 students founded this organization. They continue fighting and generation, and so they fight. And now outside Iran, they had place and the headquarters, and they connect, and they led inside and they wanted to this government using demonstration and this information and also misinformation about this movement to fear about to fear people. You cannot connect this. So I should say some of my families were joined to this movement when I was a student. Okay, and they wanted me to reject them, and I wanted me to stay in front of camera against this movement. Yeah, and they wanted to say yes, but I didn't accept this because of that.
But again, this has been 3 months in you being alone.
Yes.
What happens with your rights as a person in all of these 3 months? Does your family know where you're at?
After 2 weeks, they could understood I got arrested because of my
And
mom
for 2
tried.
weeks, they didn't
Yes,
know.
they they search all of the hospitals, they search all the police station, they search, and the one day my mom decided to went to the university and with loudly and with protest asked them, "Where is my daughter?" And so they had to say, "Okay, she got arrested." So after that, they understood where I am, where was I am, yes. And so it was after
Good for your
that.
mother that she followed
Yeah,
her
exactly.
inner voice and didn't give up and
After
found
they
you.
after they searching from hospitals and everywhere they could, but they didn't know where I am. So it was very, 21-year-old girl, and they
Yeah.
don't know about it.
And this prison that you were at and the time that you spent these first 3 months, what
Yeah.
was going through your head in
Yes.
this time?
And this something happened, and I wanted to the another turning point in my life when I got arrested. I came through face to face of this true criminal regime. When I was in university, as I thought, I was activist. I had some demand. I protested peacefully and lead some students. We had some statement. We had some or as I tell, most of them it was some meetings or some statements as a movement, or in some cases we had protests inside universities. But when I got arrested, I saw how this regime is criminal, and how not only for me, just about my family or me. I met lots of the families, political prisoners, different kinds of the people, and so. And after in the solitary confinement, I thought I'm not the first one. As I said, I understood, I learned about the memories who dedicate their life for this life. And I said, okay, I will not be the last one because of this regime is this.
Because it's a cycle. It repeats with different
So
families.
what I should do my generation, the generation dedicate themselves and stood against Khomeini and didn't say, they say no to this, the Khomeini, and I got energy from them. And I thought, how many people spend the last moments of their life in these cells? Because in 1988, this government killed 13,000 political prisoners under the order of Khomeini. But during this regime, they didn't allow us to know about this massacre. But when as I told, in university, I understood something. I learned about our previous generation, how they did after revolution. Something happened that, and it's not that they say, okay, all of the people accepted Khomeini's dictatorship, and I understood, okay, there are a generation they stood against Khomeini, and they paid the price of this. So, but they wanted to interrupt the connection with new generation and this generation, because of that, the forbidden name inside Iran is MEK, because they pay lots of the people price, and the most thing that the simple sentence is execution for who are connected to this organization, because the first enemy of this regime is MEK and NCRI members. So at that time, I understood how is important the memories of the people, the spreading the memories of the people who dedicate their lives, because you get energy, and why this regime didn't allow us to know about these people. You know, when you know somebody and memories of them and their resistance, how they resist against this regime, you got a symbol. You know the role model inside your thoughts and your brain, and so you got a role model, and you can do what they did. You know, they say you say
feed from their power and inspiration.
exactly, and say, okay, they did this, and I can do. And in solitary confinement, I understood how it's important to saying the stories of this kind of people who dedicate their lives.
Can you describe a day of what this confinement meant for you? Like what's the regime of it?
One day in solitary confinement, they got lots of everything belongs to me. All of the clothes and my bag, also my watch. They didn't allow me to have this because they wanted to. You don't realize the time when it's the morning or the, and they just give me two set of the clothes, and it was related to prison, and we had to have the chador, it's a long hijab for the interrogation. And so most of the time I had this stress. Okay, interrogator came to me to go to the interrogation, and it started to torture, it started to the pressure, so accepting something that I didn't committed. And so yes, it was just thinking how I understood I should be resistance and to be in power. So I started to exercise and thinking about my studies, so didn't forget them. And I divided my days different things. I didn't have pen or pencils or something like this, or paper. Nothing. It's just empty cells in the 2 meters, in 3 meters, very small, and just one sink in the front, and I can wash my hands or something like that, and one pillow for
so limited
everything limited, and one light all the time was on. It was on the roof, so I had to see everything happening in my thoughts and my head. I had to be resilient and resistance against everything that overcome me. That they wanted to say, okay, stop. I do something, but I did everything that I didn't arrive in this point, and I started to remember the memories and stories of who I learned about them, and before read about their stories, and started to be some like them, to resilience, I guess. So but the interrogators, the question, it was awful because it was very pressure, because they wanted to accept, and they
how many times were you interrogated? Every day?
Exactly, every day. And in some cases they put me in solitary confinement, and they didn't came to me, and after 10 days, 20 days, you think, I didn't speak anybody during these things. It's they wanted to, they say, okay, I give up. But I trying, it was a hard situation. But as I told, there's something happened, something helped me. That's the thinking about my responsibility, and also what should I do, and also about the stories that, and also I said myself, I should not allow them to be victory,
Yes.
Yes. And I said, I should resistance, and it's my responsibility. So
What was the most difficult moment for you when you were?
I arrested with my brother, but the worst thing was they torture my brother in front of my eyes. It was the worst things, So, but thanks God that I could overcome in this moment. That's it. Don't say I give up, because they wanted us to.
Shabnam, I'm so sorry that this has happened to you, and this is so.
I say this story that's saying that it's not my story. It is what's going on in Iran. When I speaking out about prisoners, when we say please support prisoners, when we ask everybody one by one, please support this statement. Just wanted to say this. Just wanted to why we ask one by one people or person to support the prisoners, political prisoners, the people of Iran. Why? This is just not my story. This is what's going on inside Iran for the political prisoners, or maybe very worse than this.
Because there are many who cannot tell their
stories. Yes.
How long were you in confinement, and then how long were you in jail?
And after 3 months, I transferred to the another cells. It was with another 2 women. They are the Baha'is, the leaders of Baha'is, and also 3 to 4 months I was with them. After 7 months in the intelligence services cells, it was related to intelligence service, intelligence minister. I transferred to the general ward with the another prisoners, the ordinary prisoners, women with the murder or the another crimes that they committed the crimes, and I met all of them. Hundreds, more than 700 or 500. When you say the general prisons, maybe it is dangerous, because the interrogators told me, the first thing that they told me, that we can do everything, nobody can hear your voice. And the another things, we send you to the general ward that the prisoners hurt you, attack
Everything
you.
Everything can happen to you.
Yes. Yeah. And but when I what I saw in prison, it was all of them were victims of this regime. Nobody attacked me. I saw them as a sister, because they helped me and I wanted to be with them. Because all of them as you sit with me, I sit with them, but most of them, not all of them, because there are lots of some of them, to hear their voice, to hear their stories, because they are the stories of misogynists of this regime. How these are the misogyny. And so because of that, I can say, okay, it was good that I met them. I understood they are not dangerous. They are the victims of this regime, and they don't know about their rights. And this regime use about these for attack them and for execute them. It was so as and also I met the political prisoners, the families of victims of the 1988 executed, and in 1980s decade. So it was another thing that I got to learn about them. The families who were asking for justice during the decades that I didn't even know about them. They were under the pressure.
There's no way to know if they're somewhere hidden.
So because of that the reason that I'm now trying to every day to being their voice is this, that I promised them I echo their voice. I should tell their stories about women and all of the people of Iran, because I understood when they say we put you here, nobody can hear your voice, that how the matters this voice, how the valuable this voice, and how can we do for them
This is a very scary sentence, to know that somebody has full control around your voice and how your story travels. It's really, really scary.
Exactly.
And I was also thinking about the fact that you mentioned the other prisoners. My life has turned into different ways, but there was a part of my work where I had to meet some people who occasionally were in jail for small crimes. And I think that people have a very... nobody wants to be a criminal. Let's put it like that. Maybe there are a few people who want to do crimes and they want to sell drugs or guns or whatever. But most people who have done crimes don't want to be criminals. They did something because they didn't know better or because they were pushed through circumstances. And I don't mean political prisoners. Obviously, that's not a criminal I have in mind. But I think that there's many people in jail which society forgets about. Exactly. But there's also the fact that there are governments who use jails to put everybody who disagrees with them. Exactly. And I think that in your case, you had both of this. I'll go back to the lawyer question, and I'm sorry to be so stupid and European, but is there a lawyer at some point in this story?
But yes, we could get the lawyers and other prisoners, but they cannot defend you. Everything written by the interrogator and not about you cannot have time. You don't have time to defend yourself. And you have to chat and do your lawyer. It is just one thing is important that, and now the lawyer maybe can access your document and something like that, or goes what happened. But recently they forbidden some lawyers to access to use this for put pressure the prisoners. But lawyer cannot do anything. It's because all the things had been written by interrogators. They decided how many years decide, not a judge also, even not a judge, but they are all together, judges and interrogators and something like that. And they wanted the judge, sentence to this.
So the judge and the interrogator, in a way, makes sure that your lawyer doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And that's in some cases, lawyer can speak about the prisoners and speak to media. In these cases, it's good. But for the sentence, for the court, for the they cannot do something.
For the system is happy with itself and it just keeps on rolling.
They're rolling.
How much time did you spend? So you were arrested when you were 20? 21?
21 I was. And when I released, it was 26. When I was 26. Yes.
5 years.
5 years.
5 years of your life you were in prison.
Exactly.
Because you were leading students' protests for academic and accessible education and quality in education.
Exactly. And also in the big things, I wanted the bright future for and also our generation, or the very equal things, the very simple things that is normal for all of the people around the world. So the other, as one of the people who I met, I wanted to mention her name here. It was Maryam Akbari Monfared. She's in prison last 16 years.
16 years.
Yes, she's a member of families of members. 4 of her siblings were executed by Khomeini during 1980s and 1988 massacre. And the one thing is, the important thing is, she's a mother of 3 daughters. When she got arrested, the youngest girl was 3.5. And now she's a
young woman.
Young woman. And during these 16 years, she didn't be allowed to come out or even single a day. But despite all of the tortures, despite all of the things, she bravely have a justice to file the complaint against the judiciary system because of her families, her siblings, very bravely, because they got angry about that and they exiled her far from her family and asked them to reject this complain and to put an end, but she didn't accept this. She continues her justice, asking for justice, and working group of United Nations for disappearance accept 2 case of her brother and her sister for as a disappearance case in 1988. So because of this, she got arrested in 2009 protest inside Iran, and she was sentenced to 15 years. But after 15 years, they didn't release her and they sentenced her 2 more years because of this justice. And so I wanted to mention her because she, all the time when I was in prison and now, she's a source of energy and resistance. And she's a sample of people or women in Iran who fight against this criminal regime, not just for one day, 1 year or 2 years or 3 years ago, during all of her life. Because when she was a child, she lost her siblings, and she was very young when her mother lost her mother because of the pressure of these things. Just 13 years old. And so during all of her life was under the pressure and torture, and also and these kinds of the things. So I say that's the fighting against this regime, or the women, or the protests against this regime, is not come from just the recent protests. It's long-standing, and they has their roots during the 4 decades, more than 4 decades. So now she's in prison, in Qarchak Marmi prison, very notorious, but I know she's also continue to resist
fighting.
and fighting, and is a source of energy and resistance for all of the other prisoners.
It's both very inspiring and very scary, because I cannot imagine what does it mean to be in prison for nearly 20 years now. Okay, so 18 years now, and just to have no clarity on when you're going away and when you're going back, even though you didn't really commit any crimes. This is very, very scary.
Yeah.
I also want to talk to you about another aspect of the, I cannot really call it justice system, because it doesn't really sound like any justice, but there is also the death penalty, which is such a scary thing to consider, especially in one country where there are so many political prisoners, so many disappearance of people who are involved in protests, and then there's still even the legal way to end their life. So what role does the death penalty have in the bravery of all the protesters? Does it come as a topic? Does it scare people who just need to?
You know, this government uses death penalty and execution for spread of fear and to control the society.
So they still do the death penalty. It's not just as a warning. There is still executions.
Execution as control society and fear, to spread the fear against society from the 1988 till now, and 1980s and until now. And you know, when they got, you know, from the September last year, 1,600 people were executed. 1,600 people. Wow. It is not normal. And last month, it was 172 execution. So it is all of the executions politics, because they use it for politics issues. They use for your politics to spread the fears, and using this penalty against the protesters. It is exactly targeting and sending a message to the youth generation and the other activists inside Iran, and we say resistance units because there are some people who connected to the movement, MK movements, and they led the protests. Every day they have the activities. They put a fire to the sides of these governments. They're active to show nobody or nobody turn off the voice. This
it doesn't work. The scare
yes,
tactic.
exactly. So these resistance units every day are active. Every day. Yes, they are active every day, and so they send this message: if we arrest you, we will kill you, we will execute you. Exactly 40 days before they execute Mehdi Hassani and Behruz Ehsani, two protesters who were arrested just after recent protests, and they were the connection to the MEK, the forbidden name. And they wanted them to reject MEK, but they didn't accept that. And they just executed them because of the connection to the MEK, Mujahideen Khalq resistance units. And we see every day that another six political prisoners who were also related to the MEK are on the death row because of this connection. They use this
like the universal explanation for
exactly, and wanted to send a message that we will kill all of the people who connected to the Mujahideen, because they know that they will well organized people, they can organize inside people, and these resistance units are active inside people.
So they see it as a threat for the...
Exactly, they are the most threatful things, and the most enemy are these youth people who are active inside Iran, not just outside Iran. We are also so... yes, they used the death penalty and for this, and they wanted to say society, you are under control me. But it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But the criminal, and we ask all of the United Nations and all of the governments that you can force this government to stop. If for Mr. Farnshaw, the Prime Minister of the Belgium, last year in the European Parliament, they told to all of the government, if you stop your connection to this regime, because just for one execution, they stop the executions because they need this connection for
they
today.
Get the message.
But they didn't do this. The negotiations and have relate the policies for this government and everything that we reject them. They continue to this. That the people of Iran pay the price.
I think that there are so many unclear links when it comes to the Gulf countries, the Middle East, and the role of European governments there. Because now, if we start talking about the Israel and Palestine and Iran and Russia, I think there will be 3 more hours of this.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's clearly that they do respond to external pressure, not that much to internal. But I think that also what is really important to say is that this, in the end of the day, the future of Iran is now being built. And if more and more young people lose their lives in prisons, that means that this is a loss for Iran at the end of the day.
And that's the first of this conversation. You mentioned our demonstration, the Brussels. It was the tens of thousands of people, Iranians, came here to Brussels, and with the great politics around the world, from the United States and the British, and also they send this message that the Madam Rajavi, that echoes the message of the Ms. Rajavi, is that she expressed 2 decades before at the European Parliament. He said, no war, no appeasement. Just overthrowing this regime. They are the third option, third way. That is this overthrowing this regime by the people of Iran and a well-organized alternative. And if the 2 decades before, if all of the government had heard this,
we would not be here now.
Yeah. And we said we have the plan for future of Iran. It has a 10-point plan. We say non-nuclear Iran, no to the execution, and reject all of the equality for all of the women and men, and peaceful, and all the things that this Middle East need, we have in this. And we say, and also we have clear message. We say, we don't want the weapon, we don't want the money, with anything. We don't want anything from the Europe or other countries. We just say, stop appeasement policy, stop negotiation with this criminal regime, and accept and recognizing the alternative for this regime. There is an alternative. They're fighting.
There is an alternative, and it's a very well written alternative. I read the plan. I must admit that I was not aware of this, that it's so detailed, and I was looking through the links, and it all looks very well thought of. And I think that this is also a good lesson that Europe needs to learn, that getting involved in internal politics when it comes to the Middle East is not a good idea. You can use all of the diplomacy you want, all of the external relations, economic sanctions, whatever, but getting involved within the country, there's so many examples that this backfires and it implodes. And I think that if somebody needs an example why we need secularism, why we need not involvement within the country, there is Afghanistan.
Exactly, okay.
And Afghanistan is a very scary example currently, especially when it comes to women's rights, when it comes to foreign affairs being intertwined into internal affairs. Exactly. So tell me more about Ms. Rajavi. So you're very inspired when you speak about...
Yeah, because, as a woman, as you ask me what's inspiring you, when I got know her, I say, okay, as a role model. She is a woman, Iranian woman, and she shows us every moment for the women in Iran to get their power. Get said also, as a women, we can do something like this, because all the time, misogynist regime said this message, women cannot do something because they don't have this power. But Madam Rajavi, Miss Rajavi, with this great leadership, they send this message, women can and must do everything. And I said that we can and must, the slogan that Ms. Rajavi every time turned, it was my slogan during all the hard situation. And the same message, because she believed in the power of people, power of the, and they say, and this is that during today she came, it was a great demonstration with her presence, and saying all of the politics that yes, there's an alternative. We are here. We can overthrow this regime. We have this power to overthrow this regime because we have the people in the street, inside people, as you can see, tens of thousands of people around the world. We have this power to overthrow this regime and also build a new Iran, build the future of Iran, because we have the plan, we have and she is National Council Resistance of Iran is a council for founded by Masoud Rajavi, the leaders of MEK in 1980s, because the umbrellas and convoys of all kinds of the ideas together against this regime, believing in republic and no Shah, no mullahs, and overthrowing this regime and secular republic. So, and this council elected Mariam Rajavi as a president interrogation during the transformation period for the 6 months after revolution, because and we say the president-elect of NCRI. After revolution, we have the 6 months transformation time for for people to get the power, to have a election, and it's just for this period. And as we say that we reject all kinds of the help from all of the world, but we say we have this power. Just believe it. Just acknowledge our power, because we say this. They are criminal. They are how they do and how they behavior with yourself, and lots of the proof that you have document.
I think it's enough proof.
Enough, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we say you with the peaceful transformation, with the peaceful to change the future of it is the acknowledging this the rights of people of Iran for fight against this regime. This alternative as a true alternative of this regime, so everything can change very easily. But it's this clear message she sent, and also she's not the one woman that in the leadership. In this organization, she get power to all of the women who accepted to fight against the regime, and he every time teach them and all of them. And in this organization, women are leading all of the points of the aspects of the organizations, and also other men accepted they leaders because they teach men and women the society need to have to be the future of society needs. And also I should mention that the more than 50% of national council resistance of Iran are women. The more than 50%, and
this is a good model also to replicate in Europe, because actually in a lot of the conversation about defense and peace, there is no women on the table.
Exactly.
So it's really good to maybe replicate some of the good practices, and not only to to scale.
It is such as the government in exile for the future, and so our message is clear. We said that no war, no appeasement. The third option. Accept. And we said 2 decades before, if they accept this, we didn't saw a lot of things, and also the 12 days of the war. When they started to attack Israel, we said that the head of snake is inside Iran. Is not in the Middle East. Everything happening is under the role of the mullahs, not other things. And the National Council of Iran, the members were the first organization rebelled and explored the nuclear bomb of this regime in 2003. It is the longest standing. The first people said this government decided to make a bomb and send this message, and please wake up, Iranian government are nuclear bomb. And during 2 decades, they have this appeasement, and we know they're closing to the nuclear.
Maybe now they will be
maybe heard. After 2 decades, and that they say that this government is close to have the nuclear bomb. It is close, and they say if they just use a snapback, and we say yes, it is okay, but it's not enough, and it's late, but you should do more to put IRGC as a terrorist group. Why they didn't know? And they are very clear. They send the terrorists around the world. They send terrorism. They terrorists around the world. They arrested them, but they exchange with their their verses. It is the very clear things, but we don't get tired to say more.
You don't have a choice in this case, which is, it's a very, very tough choice, but it's in a way you don't have a choice.
And we wanted to show our power today after 6th of September with the presence of Mr. Rajavi here in Bursa. It was a very historical moment. And we show that of the power of the alternative and the power of the inside Iran resistance units who are bravely fighting against this regime.
Bravery, I think, is the word of the whole episode, and I'm very, very happy and very glad that we had this conversation.
Thank you.
At the end of every episode, I ask every guest 2 similar questions. One is what makes you happy, and the other one is what makes you hopeful for the future. So, in your case,
happy is the to achieving free Iran. Because I know when get to change this, overthrowing this regime and have a free Iran, it is very peaceful changing in the Middle East also. And it is the way to disappoint what's going on in Middle East, and it's just one solution for Middle East is the overthrowing this regime. We believe in this, so it is a big happy for what's going on is overthrowing this regime and making for Iran. And the hope for me is the most thing that so I saw kinds of the people who are over the streets, and also inside Iran resistance units who are in the streets inside Iran, also prisoners. We have Ehsan Faridi, 22-year-old engineering student, got arrested, and he is now in death row, just related to the MEK and just this.
So it's that easy just to say you have links to somebody who is inconvenient,
yes.
and it's the death penalty now.
Yes. So when I hearing from the prisoners and their resistance, and also when I saw their resistance units activities, I got hope, and I'm hopeful, yes, we can achieve this.
It's a great final touch of a really interesting conversation, and thank you very much for sharing and for being so open and so it's really, I'm very impressed by you, and I'm very impressed by everything that you've shared.
Thank you.
And I hope it reaches a lot of people. We have so much learning to do about the Middle East, about Iran itself. And I must say, I hope that this is just a step in the right direction, and that you have free Iran, and that you can live and enjoy your country as everybody should.
Exactly. Thank you for your time. And it was, I know it's a very painful story, but at the end, it is the hopeful, because we have this movement, and also it is a show that the power that we can change. And also it was the time that for getting do my promise that I gave my fellow jailmates, that I be their voice of voiceless. So it was great appreciate. I was grateful and great appreciate from me, because I had this chance to do this podcast.
Thank you. I hope that everybody has their voice at some point, and I think that it's really truly inspiring to think about how different lives are lived, because we live in a time where it's really interesting that we have access to these stories. Maybe 50, 60 years ago, there were more stories like yours, but it was not possible to be heard in, I don't know, in the dining room of somebody in Slovakia or something like this. So I hope the voices are heard, and I want to thank not only Shabnam, but also you for listening to this story. I will share the links of the National Council so people can read through.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the success, not good luck, but success.
Thank you.
All the people who are listening in Iran, be brave and follow Shabnam's example, because this is the way to lead change. Thank you very much for being with us. And share this episode so it reaches more people. And be kind, be nice, be a good person, and enjoy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.